Jesus Christ. We just got done watching a master of his craft at work. This is the recap of Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez card. Gonna be going through the fights that I just want to be able to talk about that happened on this card. There was an undercard. I know Sergey Boachuk was a part of that as well. I didn't even was able to participate to be able to watch that fight. I was busy watching UFC. My UFC Noche Fight Night card recap is already on this channel that you could be able to tune in if you're a UFC and MMA fan as well, and you want to be able to turn into that. I know that there was another fight that started off this card. I had no care about that at all. But this one, starting off, we had Lester Martinez versus Christian Mbili. And I mean, fight of the year. I mean, rock'em, sock'em, robots. These dudes were handing out CTE on a platter, and they were just chowing them down. Like I credit to these two men, these two warriors, these two gladiators who put their health and well-being in the utmost just risk every single time that they threw a shot, whether it be to the body, whether it be to the head. And Bealey, obviously known for being this powerhouse dude in the super middleweight division from that want to be able to say, oh my Jesus, Quebec, Canada, and is known for having this power, knocking dudes out, just being a ferocious type of dude where he's just laying dudes out. And Lester Martinez being that Guatemalan heritage that he carries with that massive chin and power as well. Both of these guys are absolutely jacked. I mean, souped up to the gills. They come in and fight at 168. They looked like 190 in there. I mean, these dudes were throwing leather like it was nobody's business. Goes to a draw. Lester Martinez, I think, started to be able to wear down a little bit better and really come on hard and strong. Pause later in this fight against Christian Mbili that gave Mbili a lot of problems. I didn't score this card. I didn't go into there and be like, well, I'm going to be jotting every single thing down and going there and there. This was a judge's scores nightmare. I could be able to go back to it if you guys are actually very interested in to be able to watch that. I mean, I'll put that out there, no problem. But man, back and forth, a draw. I'm not mad at all. This one was very, very close, very entertaining. Again, fight of the year. If you want to be able to see punishment on end just for your dear enjoyment, this was absolutely worth it. And now moving on to the co-main, we had Callum Walsh, the UFC or Dana White's, golden child in terms of boxing. He's had his own cards, and Dana White and the UFC has been trying to be able to push him as like the biggest boxing person that they have, running under their stable, versus Fernando Vargas Jr. From the son, obviously, of Fernando Vargas, who was a great boxer in his early area, being in a lot of great fights in his career, that being his father. Really getting a jump up for both of these dudes, that being Vargas and Walsh. But this one was very underwhelming. It wasn't absolutely, incredibly bad, but I mean, coming off the high that Mbili and Martinez put out there, and then obviously you got the main attraction, the main draw where everybody's souped up and ready to be able to watch. This one was a clear simmer down for that one. I think Walsh handedly did beat Vargas. I think it was a lot closer than what it was on the judges' scorecards, though. I think I had Vargas just off the top of my head winning more than one round. I think he won at least maybe three. Vargas had some success here and there, but just boxing wise, he had a lot of issues going against Walsh. Walsh was outboxing him pretty easily, lackadaisically, and very comfortably. Where I had him in moments where he was getting shots landed on him that he obviously shouldn't have had him, landed on him at all. It didn't hurt him, obviously. It didn't have him wobbled and had him in any trouble. But I mean, obviously, something that Andre Ward did say on the commentary that I did agree very much so too was that eventually, if he does get lackadaisical and build these habits up to himself in his career, when he turns up the heat and gets himself into bigger names and bigger competitions, those shots are going to be very detrimental to his career and his health as well. But overall, for this one, Walsh, I think, really washed Fernando Vargas in this one, and pretty handedly. Vargas, a big jump up for him in his career. It was worth for the try, honestly, if we're going to be out there and really putting ourselves to the test and testing if we can be able to be that boxer and the hype that everybody, claims and that wants him to be. Obviously, with his father and his resume and his name and having all these knockouts and being the prodigy that his father is trying to be able to create out of him, too much and too early. And now, obviously, to the main attraction, Canelo Alvarez, Terence Crawford. Everybody's clamoring. At first, I wasn't very interested in this matchup. I think this was a very uneven affair, obviously going the other way. That being for Canelo, I have made my prediction video, their legacy, the keys, and we finally are here for the review of this fight. I'm going to be going for a round by round basis. I did think that this fight was going to be going to a decision. And starting off with this first round, I thought it was very even. I think Crawford seemingly was more of the busier fighter in this one. Looked a lot lighter, landed the cleaner shots here and there. Canelo was pressing very hard. He was throwing hard and was actually a little bit more frequent and was actually throwing a bit more shots than usually what we are seeing early on from Canelo. And most of them were hard shots and good shots to the body and to head. None of them were really landing clean at all. And it was a close round nonetheless. I gave that round to Crawford just by the work that I seen from him. I thought it was a bit more cleaner. Second round was another close and competitive round, very similar to the first one, but it just seemed that the jab and the footwork plus also as well as the foot speed of Terence Crawford is really it really is the key to be able to beat Canelo Alvarez. And it's while it is an issue for Canelo, he hasn't really seemed to be able to figure that one out, and it is a huge advantage for Terence Crawford. I gave that second round to Terence Crawford. Third round, I think the lateral movement and the speed, it's really impressive by Terence Crawford. The move up was very seamless from where he was going up from 147 to 154, now to 168. He really put in the work for him to be able to continue to have that same speed that he was carrying over from that lighter weight divisions. And while it was looking like a boxing clinic by him. Canelo was continuing to invest to the body with a lot of shots, a lot of straight shots to the body, a lot of feints up top, and then a straight right down to the body, a lot of left hooks. Obviously, the obvious Canelo, vintage style that he's having. Another round that I gave to Terence Crawford. So it's already 3-0 for Crawford on my scorecard. Fourth round, Crawford starts the round very strong with a hard combination, really planting his feet and securing his spot to be able to, really show Canelo that he has some type of shots and worries to be able to power with his hands and everything that he's wanting to be able to show Canelo that, yeah, this is not going to be an easy ride that you thought it was going to be. And Canelo from there, after he got hit with that combination and those early shots, it woke him up. He started to be able to turn the tide, and Canelo then started to be able to land a lot of straight right hands and jabs that were with a lot of conviction. Crawford had a nice stretch late in the round to be able to potentially swing it, but then I do think that Canelo was able to respond correctly and really get some wind under his sails. So I gave that round to Canelo. Close round, I can be able to see if you gave that one to Crawford, but I leaned more to Canelo in that round. Fifth one was another close and competitive one. A lot of swing and misses by both of these guys. A lot of very good head movement by both Canelo and Crawford. But really, the big one for this one, it was close and competitive, but I just think that Canelo was stalking more, was really having Crawford on his bike, biting a lot on feints, and really still landing a lot of shots to the body. I do think that Crawford was boxing very well and effective with the lateral movement and on the back foot, but I do think that Canelo won that round. It is now 3-2 with me giving that round to Canelo Alvarez. Sixth round was a real big momentum shift. Obviously seen if you watch the fight for Terence Crawford, really starting off the round very strong with another great combination with the hand speed, really getting a lot of respect from Canelo and getting back to his boxing and really greatly affecting Canelo with the boxing that he was doing. Beautifully lands this like left hand like a sniper early in that round in that 6-1. And Canelo is there and he's still like being effective and countering and doing the things that he wants to be able to do, but Terence Crawford really stamped that one early and not rest on his laurels, but knew that he had the round in the bank and didn't want to be able to take any more risk after that one. So I gave that round to Terence Crawford, that being the sixth. Seventh round, Crawford is starting to be able to get comfy in the pocket with Canelo, outgunning Canelo in my opinion, making Canelo look very slow between both of them, obviously. Always beating Canelo to the punch, and as well, always countering effectively every single time that Canelo is throwing a shot. Another round that I gave to Terence Crawford. Now I have Crawford up big, 5-2. Eighth round then starts off. Canelo is getting a good round, getting better work to the body, using his feints a lot more effectively, having Crawford reactive to a lot of his work that Canelo is trying to be able to throw to with. So he's seemingly getting more effective, going back and investing a lot more to the body to be able to get the legs out under from Terence Crawford and really have him more standstill and have him in the pocket where really Canelo wants to be able to work and do more of the more effective hard shots that he believes that he has with the power advantage. We're obviously everybody thinking that he has that. Gave that round to Canelo, now 5-3. Ninth round was the most close and competitive round out of all of them. There was a lot, obviously, in this fight, but this one was a hard one to be able to swing. It was the most action-packed round for sure, back and forth, really landing hard shots. Both of these guys really letting go of the leather, especially Crawford early with a big stand. Really every single time early on in a round, Terence Crawford, if he wanted to be able to stamp his approval on a round, he landed and threw a very long but speed, with a lot of speed combination shots, upstairs, downstairs, trying to be able to really ward off Canelo and really have Canelo guessing about what is going to be coming towards his way. But Canelo then returning back with a lot of hard shots in between whenever Crawford is trying to be able to do so. Canelo is countering effectively, and while he is doing so, a lot throughout of the round, then from there, Canelo seemingly started to be able to continue to stalk Crawford, get him back moving forward, and Canelo is starting to be able to land a little bit more of right hands throughout the rest of the round, where the first of that round was very close and competitive, back and forth swinging. I would lean more towards Crawford winning that round, but then Canelo throughout the rest of the round, I think he started to be able to take that away from him. So I gave that round to Canelo. 10th round. Now I have another very close round where Canelo seemingly and is just continuing to stalk Crawford. But Crawford, he's having his moments with success. He's throwing good shots and combinations, but they're very far and few between. They're here and there. He threw like 3 really good combinations in this round. But besides that, he's just trying to be able to move laterally and get out of the way of the big shots that Canelo's trying to throw. And Canelo is just finding home with that right hand. Really, this is what the staple for Canelo is, just that right straight, being in that southpaw stance. Could just not be able to miss by that. So from here on out, in that 10th round, I have it 5-5 with Canelo really storming back very, very hard and really bringing this fight to a close draw. And in the 11th round, it is a huge, and I mean huge, comeback round by Terence Crawford. These combinations that Terence Crawford is throwing and the counters that he's landing is definitely having a lot of effect on Canelo. Canelo's having a lot of respect and showing a lot of respect to these shots. Canelo is doing great work and he's landing very hard as well. There was a shot that he landed where he threw an uppercut to a right hand. There's shots, in right hands as well, and jabs that he's throwing as well that are effective and they score and they're good looking shots. But overall, Terence Crawford is being more timely and having the best of Canelo in this one. And in the 12th round, another close one, obviously. These two guys are great warriors and champions, but just a masterful performance. Terence Crawford is seemingly putting the cherry on top of what he's already accrued so far throughout these 12 rounds. I believe he wins the 12th round as well. I have it 7-5 for Terence Crawford. Two of the judges' scorecards agreed with me on this one. One had it 8-4 to Crawford, which I cannot also be able to see if you give. I believe that ninth round is where I'm leaning, here and there. There's other rounds that I can be able to see if you want to be able to give Canelo that first round. Or maybe you want to be able to give Crawford that fourth round and you want to be able to switch something up. I can be able to see that. But realistically, it was a very close, very competitive fight between these two guys. So all in all, to summarize everything, Terence Crawford is the GOAT. He's the GOAT. He really is. In this generation, 100%, he has stapled himself as the best, or one of the best boxers. Naoya Inoue, his technicality and the way that he fights is on another level, 100%. You can't be able to debate it. But his competition is not great. He still hasn't fought names like Nakatani. He hasn't fought names like a Jesse Bam Rodriguez. He has names like Nonito Donaire and Louis Neri, Stephen Fulton. There's some good names on his resume, but nothing of the ilk of a Terence Crawford or Alexander Usyk. I think really Usyk and Crawford are 1A, 1B. They really outdo each other every single time they fight. If they were to be able to fight, if they could be able to fight, I think it would go to a draw every single time, seemingly looking like a better BF versus Bivol type of fight. Obviously, but these two guys are in two different completely weight divisions, so that'll never happen. But Terence Crawford, man, you look at his resume, and yeah, the names that he's fought may have not been in their prime, may have not been on the greatest win streak, but the names are just undeniable, and his accolades are just undeniable. 3-time undisputed champion in 3 weight divisions. I think he's now like a 5 or 6-time weight division champion. He's still a champion in the 154-pound division, and he went up to 168, jumping from 160 to be able to beat the cash cow in Canelo Alvarez, which me, myself, thought was going to be able to get a victory over, and a lot of other dudes. I mean, to be able to call out a dude that I love watching his video, Showbiz the Adult, thinking that he is going to be getting that being Canelo, a knockout over Terence Crawford, and having this performance, Terence Crawford, man, there's just nothing that you can be able to say about him. Defeating Errol Spence the way that he did, demolishing him. Defeating guys like Israel Madrimov, who are, a guy like on the up and up swing, but having a very tough time against him, but then becoming a champion there. Defeating a guy like a Canelo Alvarez, who is not in his prime, but still not in his prime and out of his prime on his way out, and not fighting the best competition as of right now, is just to have that name on your resume. Look at the names as like Amir Khan and Kell Brook, Sean Porter, Yuriorkis Gamboa in his prime, Victor Postol in his prime before he actually had a loss on his resume, who was a problem. I mean, like, man, he doesn't have the deepest bag in terms of resume, but the names, the star-studded names, the talent that Terence Crawford is, bar none. I don't think there's anybody realistically that can be able to touch this dude. And to go on to the other side for Canelo, I mean, I think there's a reason as to why he's fighting the guys that he's been fighting as of note recently. You look at John Ryder. You look at a Jaime Munguia. You look at a William Skoll. You look at a Edgar Berlanga. These guys are easy, secure the bag dubs that he can be able to get in there. He doesn't really have to be able to knock him out and do the whole shebang and, do whatever he has to do. He'll just get his 12 rounds in, cash in his buck, get out of Dodge, and does what he needs to be able to do. And that's what he kind of looks like. He says on the mic that he feels great, he feels good. But, I mean, this was his 67th professional fight. And not only that, but he's 34 years old, but he's been in a lot of wars. He's been in a lot of fights. he looked a lot slower in this matchup against Terence Crawford, which is a thing that you can be able to say in MMA and the UFC, where lighter man skill is a thing. With a dude coming up from a lower weight class in the division, you got to have a little bit more skill than the bigger dude who just relies on a lot less skill and power. We already knew the boxing edge in terms of talent and skill was on the edge of Terence Crawford, but seemingly like the matchup that we've seen twice already before with Alexander Usyk versus Tyson Fury, the great little man defeats the great big man again in another division in this era of boxing as of right now. The Terence Crawford is just on another level, man. He just is. There's no debate about it. There's the only thing that really frustrates me about this is that potentially Terence Crawford is probably going to retire. Obviously, I wouldn't mind it. I mean, there's nothing else for him to be able to do unless he wants to be able to do a big money rematch against Canelo. I mean, why not? If you're putting your resume, you're putting the belts on there, you already won, you already got all the accolades. It doesn't really matter. You're just doing it again for the money. It is what it is. I see what you're trying to be able to go out on a bang again. But if he retires, it is what it is. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see the matchup between him and Jaron Boots Ennis, which I think is like a match made in heaven. I think obviously Crawford has the edge over Ennis 100%. But I mean, just for the talent, how Ennis is, yada, 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 it would be a great, tremendous fight. Another thing to be able to say about Canelo, though. For Canelo, I mean, the losses on his resume, just better boxers than him. Better boxers than him. And that's the only thing that Canelo has an issue with. He doesn't have the greatest jab. He's not a prototypical type of boxer that you're going to be able to see in there, and his technique is tremendous and amazing. He really just relies on his power a lot. His not really his physicality, but his power, his IQ, his experience, his technique and skills are, tremendous. But you put him in there in front of a Floyd Mayweather, and Floyd Mayweather outboxes him, makes him look like an absolute fool. B-Vol goes in there and outvalues him and really does a number on him. And Terence Crawford gets in there and really just outguns Canelo. That's something that you can't be able to say. Floyd outboxed him. B-Vol outboxed him and outvalued him. But Crawford outgunned him. In the pocket, in exchanges, in the counters, in the combinations, the speed, the power, the chin. There was a lot of straight rights and a lot of good jabs that Canelo was landing clean on Terence Crawford, and Crawford was able to take it well. He took the body shots well as well. Terence Crawford, man, he is just on another level, in another realm that you can't be able to touch. It is really, really great to be able to see a master, a GOAT at work. What can you be able to say? The dude is 3-time undisputed champion. That's something that is historically never happened. I don't even have to Google search that. You don't have to. I don't know anybody that has done it like Terence Crawford. He is the best, for sure, in this generation and for probably many more to come. I don't know anybody else that's probably going to do what Terence Crawford is doing as of right now. And the talent has always been there. The talent has always been there. It's just the competition and the accolades and everything else and the notoriety and the fame and everything else just hasn't been there. And now after a win over Canelo, I'm pretty sure that should be on its way as of right now for Terence Crawford. Like this video if you obviously like this video. Comment your opinions on what you thought of this matchup between Canelo and Crawford. Did you have it a little bit more wide? Did you think Crawford for sure ran away with it a lot more easier than what I thought? Did you think some of the rounds were off that I thought? Did you think Canelo actually had a draw or maybe even a win? I can't be able to say Canelo won this fight. I cannot. The only way that I can be able to say this fight went in Canelo's favor is maybe if you saw a draw. That's about it. Other than that, body language, everything else, I think Terence Crawford got the job done. Also, as well, if you want to be able to talk about in the comment section about what an absolute barn burner it was between Christian Mbili and Lester Martinez. I mean, Jesus Christ. That was a great to be able to watch. Great, great boxing. And subscribe. I mean, if you're here, You love it here. You love the talk. You love the chat. I'm gonna always be here, man. I'm consistent. I'm good. I'm better. I'm the Terence Crawford of this damn community. Thank you guys again for watching again, and peace.